what's really happening in the real estate market? We're gonna talk about that right now. It's Alex Fung here, Daryl King team, Remax Hallmark. I just wanna wish you guys Happy New Year. Hope you guys are doing very well. Hope you got to celebrate with your family and friends. And so let's just dive right into the real estate market, okay? So before we do, it's good to put into perspective, how is the real estate market compared to the stock market and the crypto market? And the good thing and the good news I have for you is that it actually outperformed both of those asset classes quite considerably. The stock market actually in the same time period of January 2022 versus January 2023, it actually dropped by over 34%, okay? And in the crypto market, it actually dropped by 78%. So it's all about perspective here, okay? How have we done versus the other two, okay? Now, the other aspect that we need to consider is the foreign buyer ban, okay, introduced by the federal government. So starting in January, okay, foreigners are not able to buy homes for up to 2 years, okay? And, you know, there's not a lot of comment about that from the government, okay? But because it's Ontario and based on, you know, there's lots of immigration that happens here, a record breaking, okay? Last year we had over 400,000 immigrants coming to Canada, okay? So it's very interesting to see what's happening, okay? And the second thing that we need to think about too, though, is how, as an investor and as a foreigner, there are ways to get around the foreign buyer ban, okay? Before I begin though, I'm not a lawyer or an accountant, but based on my interpretation from, you know, the website and what they're saying is that you can get around that as a corporation, right? If the Canadian majority holder owns a corporation as a foreigner, you can buy a home. But that leads to the second hurdle, which is the provincial government, where they introduce a 25% foreign buyer tax. So, you know, you may still have to pay that tax, and, you know, as an investor, that might not be the best for you, right? You might look at other provinces, you might want to look at other countries, okay? So it is expected for the market to continue to cool down, okay? So one of the things that we need to look at too is the interest rates. Are they going to go up? Now, there's lots of mixed feelings about that. Okay, Desjardins says that it's going to stay the same, and TD believes it's going to go up on January 25th. So nobody really knows what's happening, okay? Before, you know, the rate hikes, the interest rates were pretty much free, right? It was free money. It was 0.25, okay? Now it's about 4.25. So that's a big increase in such a very short period of time, okay, within that year. So are homeowners struggling right now? The ones that purchased homes and, you know, in February, you know, March, they are feeling the crunch, okay? They're seeing their mortgage payments, especially if they got a variable rate, they're feeling the pinch. Okay, now, before we really dive into the numbers here, we need to think about, you know, if you've done any home improvements, any upgrades, your location, any local amenities. These factors really affect the type of the prices on your home, okay? And so every neighborhood is very unique. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, but let's just get right into it. So in the Stouffville real estate markets, a lot has changed, okay? Based on what we're saying here, there's 25 homes that sold versus the month before, which is 51. Now, typically, November is faster than December. So that's why I looked at the year before, which was, you know, 43 transactions. So despite that, there's a 43% decrease, 42%, my apologies. And home prices have began to drop, right? 26% on a year-to-year basis, of 1.63 million to 1.22. Now, if you look at the number of listings too, though, there's a lot more listings now than there was a year ago. 82 available homes for sale versus 33. Okay, even during the peak, it was about 72 homes that were available. And if you think about it, it actually makes sense because the type of market, which is dependent on how many transactions there are and how many homes available, you can see here that it actually transitions quite a lot from the all-time high of 0.9 to 3.28. That's a big change. And what that means is, despite it being still a seller's market, because the figure is less than 5, it's a big change in a short period of time. Within 1 year, okay? It's a 327% increase, okay, shift. And so now as a home buyer, you can negotiate on price, you can definitely negotiate on other terms like, you know, financing and, you know, inspection, okay? Now, what's interesting to note here too is that despite pre-pandemic numbers, home prices are still up 27%. So not only are home prices gone higher, but interest rates are quite high as well. Okay, so it's 4.25 right now. Back then, 2019, it was still quite high as well, but it wasn't as high as it is right now. Okay, especially how if the TD is right and interest rates do go up, it's going to be even more difficult for home buyers to buy a home now than it was pre-pandemic. Okay. Now, for detached homes in Stouffville, okay, if you look at it, there's 17 transactions versus 34 on a month-to-month basis, a 50% drop. And comparing to the all-time highs of February, 57 transactions. Okay, also, the home prices dropped from 1.97 million to 1.37 million for detaches. Now, very similar to what we talked about earlier, the market has shifted heavily from 0.93 to 3.76. So it's still a seller's market, but again, it's more transitioning to a balanced market. Okay. Interesting to note too, though, pre-pandemic numbers, it took 55 days to sell a home. Now it's taking 24 days. Okay, it's a 56% quicker to sell a home now than it was pre-pandemic. Okay, for you homeowners out there. So in terms of other types of homes, right, there are not a lot of transactions that happens, and one transaction could heavily influence the other numbers and figures. So if you really want more details about it, please let me know and I'll be happy to help. I hope you like this information, the video, and if you find this useful, please share it, like it, subscribe, and I'll talk to you next month. Take care. Bye.